So, welcome everybody to another episode of Local Film Talk. This is going to be a fun one, an interesting one. We're talking with potentially all the filmmakers who are going to be screening one of their films, one or more of their films, at FilmSPARK this weekend. I sent invitations out to most of them. I think the total was about 25 people, and so far we have 4 guests. So we'll have to see how things go. But I thought it would be
the awards.
So what?
That means we win the awards, right? Because we showed up. We're dedicated.
Yes. You automatically all get the first 4 slots in the festival.
As long as we get laurels, that's all that matters.
Yes.
Right? Yay,
Yes.
on the laurels.
Yeah, I was talking to Conrad about that tonight. He said he's working on them, but
Cheers.
so hopefully in the next couple days. Yes. Cheers. So
My
yes.
first.
Sorry, I'm running a little late, folks. I was actually at the last SparkCon planning meeting before the actual event tonight. We were supposed to start at 9. It's 9:30, but I thank everybody for being patient. And I just thought it'd be really cool to give everybody a chance to talk about what they had screening at FilmSPARK, especially since there are a couple people here that I hadn't met before or hadn't had a chance to have on the show in a while. So thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
So over here, I'm going to go on my screen, left to right. We have Beverly Tan, who is screening The Last Line.
So you're not. I don't think Beverly's over on that screen, since on my screen, since you're pointing at me. So when somebody does, can you raise your hand when he says your name? Okay. Hi, Beverly.
So Beverly is the writer, director, and producer of The Last Line, which I can scroll through the schedule and see when it's going to be screening. But go ahead and give us the quick the elevator pitch of what that film's about.
All right. The Last Line is a film about a poet named Josie, and she meets the bartender named Howard in a bar, and she tells him a poem, which is a story, which turns out to be about him.
It does. It's a little.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was.
Sorry, you there? Am I frozen? Or are you frozen?
I think she's freezing out.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you again, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I remember when I watched it because, I had to watch all these things helping. I was on the judging committee, and it had, it was definitely a little bit experimental, had a romantic vibe, but it also had a little bit of, I don't know, would you call it supernatural or sci-fi bent to it at the end? I don't want to give away the ending, but it did have a bit of a twist.
It can be called a little sci-fi. I think it's kind of sad.
Oh.
That's kind of my style, I like things just a little sad and melancholy.
No. Well, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. So.
Yes, we did. You were the guest on the show last week, so I think you may be the first person to be on the show 2 weeks in a row. Here we go. Last Line is going to be shown on the 19th. That's Saturday. So your film will be shown probably around 2:15 on Saturday, September 19th. You're at the beginning of the first block for Saturday.
Woohoo!
Will you pet that puppy?
Come here.
Oh, someone's
She's
got a
being
puppy.
a pain in the butt. Give me just a second.
You got puppy priorities. Let's just chat amongst ourselves. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
All right, he's back.
Everything except to sit still.
Everything grinds to a halt when you're gone, Robert.
Do what?
Nothing.
There we go. This
We
one.
Ouch!
She is. Her name is Josie. She's about 9.5 weeks old.
Hello, puppy. Hello, puppy.
And she just needs constant attention. So let's see if she will stay in my lap and be calm. Maybe sit in the crook of my arm. So yeah. Do what?
I'll dog sit for you and cuddle with puppies.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
puppies.
she's pretty good at cuddling, as long as you wear her out a little bit first. So, but yeah, okay, she's sitting still now. So, So yeah, I'm excited to see yours. Yours, like I said, yours is part of the first block on Saturday, which is around 2 o'clock. You're actually the second film showing then, so it'll probably be about 10 after 2 or 2:15. So looking forward to
No,
seeing that one.
I'm looking
Um,
forward to seeing it in
and of
16.
course, if anybody else is, anybody out there listening to this wants to see the schedule for themselves, just go to the FilmSPARK website, and the entire schedule for the festival is listed there. So moving on down the line, we have Jaysen Buterin. Your connection looks a little more consistent than it did last time we had you on.
Yes, yes, I've improved from the 2 cans and a string.
You're next to the router instead of down in the basement, right?
This is true. This is true. I've gone from like dial-up to Wi-Fi. It's a brand new world. But hello, hello.
Nice. I see John Demers has joined us. Hello, sir.
Just got back from rehearsals. Delighted to be
Ah.
here.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Stop squirming.
Sorry.
I don't
You-
want to
you-
know what's down there squirming.
You stop squirming too.
Oh.
This one. You
Whoa!
chill out. But so Jaysen, you will be showing actually at the our live local film talk episode. You're going to be screening Between Hell and a Hard Place, which has actually been on the festival circuit for a little while and wrapped up a couple awards. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, we just had 2 more nominations come through. We're going to be at the Joe Wheeler Cult and Grindhouse Film Festival in London in December, which I'm really excited about. And then FilmSPARK was the other one. But Between Hell and a Hard Place is part of an anthology, which is called Beneath the Old Dark House. And there's going to be 4 separate films in the anthology, 2 of which are on the film festival circuit now. We've been the first one. We've been doing it for a little over a year now, and have had really tremendous, just amazing luck. We screened Greensboro, Charlotte, up and down the East Coast, all around the country and stuff like that. But this will be our first film festival in Raleigh, so this guy's moving around and really freaking me out. This is awesome.
John's giving us the tour of his office.
No, I just don't want to hang up, and I've got to get something to have in my hand.
I kind of feel there should be like a score or a theme song playing while he's moving around. I'll pause.
Oh man, now he's in the dark.
Whoa!
Oh, now it's creepy.
What's that first-person shooter film that just came out or something? Hardcore? Is that the one everyone's
Oh
freaking
yeah,
out?
I saw that trailer. Did you see the music video that's based on?
I think I saw the Facebook meme that had a giant picture of boobs, and then I never actually clicked past it.
Yeah, it's the example I always use of picking your thumbnail wisely. It's basically what the hardcore movie looks like. He made a music video like that, but there's this one point where he's running across the rooftops and these girls sunbathing, and he trips and lands right in their chests. And
Yeah.
guess what's the thumbnail for the whole video?
It got my. That's the only thing I remember. It worked.
Guess what the 14-year-old boys are going to click on.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I remember
It's
seeing
like
that
art.
music video a couple months ago, and now he's got a film coming out that's basically the same thing. So we'll see what that turns out to be. But I think it's interesting because yours is one of the few films out there right now that's black and white. So tell us a little about your choice to shoot in black and white while I put this one out real quick.
Okay. For me, one of the biggest influences I've always had has been the Twilight Zone, and just the amazingly sinister things that Rod Serling could do with very simple devices. So, to see if I could do just a ghost story, not even really a horror story per se, but just a very simple ghost story to me, black and white just seemed a very natural choice for that. Trying to sort of escape just some of the modern devices and stuff like that have been percolating in the film industry lately. I just wanted to make just a simple homage to yesteryear, and just, like I said, just a big, huge influence on me as a filmmaker, as a storyteller. Always been obsessed with the Twilight Zone.
Right.
Great-
It was a cool
great story.
crime. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that as an obsession.
I also had kind of it was a cool crime story, and it also had a little bit of a Tarantino vibe, which, something, a question I have for all you guys when it comes to writing dialogue. I liked yours in that one because it was very snappy, but also with all your different projects, all 5 folks we have here right now have very different projects with very different tones, and I'm curious what it's like trying to, I'm sure you have your own voice, and kind of when you first do your first draft, everything always kind of sounds the same. And what do you have to do to find the proper voice for the tone that you want in the dialogue and everything? Random, you want to go first?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. I'm unique, I guess, on your list here in that, well, the film I made was a documentary. So you
Hmm.
could say that all my dialogue is found dialogue, but
Right.
it's all strung in amongst the other stuff that everybody said. So you've kind of got to winnow it down. And what CDS is teaching right now, or what I'm trying to uh, understand, is that documentary is the artful reveal of truths.
Hmm.
So the way you reveal it is where the art comes in. The truth is already there before you get there. But uh, I have been handed lines by people in the piece that I just did could never have written. I could never have fleshed out anything like that.
Hmm.
And so whenever I hear them say it, I've just had some really good stuff handed to me.
Right. Yeah, yours is unique because you had people speaking off the cuff, so obviously they're going to have their own unique tone, and you have to piece that together into a coherent story. Michael, you've actually got a couple different shorts showing at FilmSPARK, and they're all part of your Endless Whispers project. So I guess you could say they all have a
Right.
similar tone. Sort of. They're all unique, but they all kind of fit into the same genre. But at the same time, can you talk about the differences in theme and tone, and finding different voices between the different shorts? I mean, you have one that's a family in a house. I'm talking about Sacrafice, which are going to be showing at the live
Right.
episode. But the other one of yours that's in, I believe, is The Long Road,
Hmm.
which is largely two guys traveling in a truck. So tell us a little bit about working, even though they're part of the same project, so they have to have similarities, how you also separate them.
Well, I'll make a. I'm not a writer, so I didn't write them. My best friend is actually the writer of all the screenplays, so he's the one that really, comes up with the initial voices. But I obviously have a big hand in helping to hone it and craft it as we get it ready to end up in front of the camera. And I think for me, the primary things, for me, the most important thing of any story is the characters. I know a lot. Some people like plot. I'm a big character guy. I could ignore the plot, which is great that I have this writer because he's really good at plot. I would my plots would be totally messy. But I like character interactions. I like having situations and then sticking characters in them. So with these shorts, we kind of went with that idea. Each of them is a sort of a it's our the this is all part of a what's going to be a feature film, and the feature film takes place. The shorts all actually occur in time 3 years before the feature film, the time of the feature film, and it's all the moments in the world where each of these people was when this particular event happened. So it's kind of so it and since what happens spreads, it takes place over several months. So we have a span of several months happen, but it's the same event that's occurring in the locations for each one of these people. And we just decided, okay, how do we handle each one of these people and what they're dealing with and who they are in the feature. We picked a characteristic that's really key for each one of them, and then just said that's going to be what we tell in our 5 to 10 minutes.
Right. So did you find that you had to he brings you a script, and then you have to decide on the style and the tone, and then does he have to go back and do a lot of rewriting to make what he wrote fit the mood you want?
No, we actually most of the story ideas, I think probably I'm trying to think of the six we've done. Um, all except for all of the story ideas except for one were actually my idea. I said, okay, Terry, we've got this woman and she's the mom in the feature film. She's the one that's, she's had kids and stuff like that. So what makes her unique in the feature? And I decided, well, you've seen it, so you know what I decided to do to her.
Right, that's the twist. That's what we can't get into right now. Though to be to be fair, for anybody who isn't going to be, obviously you can come and see, see Sacrifice and The Long Road. Or obviously you can come see those screened at FilmSPARK, but you also have all 6 of the shorts available to watch. I mean, technically they're on YouTube, but people can find them all on your website, bombshellstudios.com. So
or theendlesswhispers.com.
Or theendlesswhispers.com, right? So
that's the one we're really. Theendlesswhispers.com is the one we're really pushing.
Okay.
That's the smart move.
Yeah. But so anybody who is not able to make the screenings can go and see all of these. We'll still I'll still avoid spoiler alerts for this conversation, because if you haven't seen them, people, you need to go watch them now. But it is nice that people can, even if they can't make the festival, they can still go out and see it. So yeah, that's cool. John, your project is unique in that it stars children, mostly preteens, teenagers. So tell us a little bit about what it's like trying to create a story based around children, having to write dialogue, kind of get in the headspace of kids. And also, your project has a lot of comedy in it. So tell us a little bit about writing comedy.
It does. Well, I'm like Michael. I collaborate. I have someone that focuses on the writing, Kevin McDermott, out of California. Well, actually, I think he's in Europe vacationing. But I flesh out the treatments. I give him the storyline. I create the characters, and then he writes the dialogue, because he understands kids. After 26 years running a children's actor facility in L.A., that's what he does. He writes for kids, and some of those folks have gone on to get Oscars and Emmys and Grammys and all these different kinds of stuff.
Wow,
but the point is that he knows kids. From my end, it's real easy. I never grew up, so I still understand what children and what makes it fun and livable. And when I'm in the grocery store shopping for groceries, I'm looking at what devices they're using and where they're at, which is why we integrate both second screen online content with the broadcast television show. And I think, that's, for me, getting back to that comedic point, real life is funny. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've been around a lot of death with my brother and my mom and best friend recently, and yet even within that, I found comedy when I've either spoken at a memorial or, spoken to someone, helping them with bereavement. So, comedy is good. And of course, for us, we made kind of our bad guys comedic, so that we, elevated out of the bad guy, total bad guy. We have another one that's kind of hidden, the Shadow Man, and he starts to surface more in the Louisa May Alcott episode. So that's coming. There you go.
Now it's important to note that your project is the Rusty Bucket Kids, which is going to be, I believe it's going to be an hour-long show.
46 minutes. It's a broadcast for an hour, but that's commercials. And if you come to SparkCon, thanks to Conrad and you guys, it's commercial-free.
Yes, commercial-free, and you are showing the premiere episode.
We're showing the original pilot, for which we got the 3 Emmy noms and a bunch of other awards, and it will be one of the last times that it's publicly seen in that format, because it's in re-edit right now for becoming episode 1 and 2, and then we go to 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then hopefully continue beyond that. But it's getting reworked to justify the aging of everyone over the 3 to 4 years it took to go from pilot to funding and to distribution and further production.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting problem to run into. I mean, you're dealing with kids of a very transitional age. They have growth spurts, their voices change, and all that stuff. And it's very, even as small as a 6-month period, you can tell an extreme difference between, when one scene was shot and when another scene was shot. So, the fact that it took so long to get from, this pilot episode was the only one to get shot around that time, and it wasn't until 3 years later that you were able to get to episodes 2 and 3 and all that, right?
Well, we were smart. We knew we were going to take 2 years to go from the pilot into distribution. That was the original model.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, like with everything well planned,
right.
Just as we were getting ready to start the fundraising after the 1 year of developing the show and proving it and getting our Nielsen ratings and all, we knew the second year was going to be developing the business model and the plan and justifying the fundraise with our investors.
Right.
And as we got ready to do the fundraise, and I was working with our attorney on it, a fellow I'd known for 25 years, really good lawyer, former deputy attorney general, David got a brain tumor and died.
Oh.
And
geez.
so I spent 6 months replacing him by getting a new legal team in. And then just as they were up to speed, we were getting ready to launch our fundraiser, my brother died. And so I had to step in and take care of my mom for about a year and a half. It was not an easy thing to do. She passed away last October. In the meantime, each year, and we did this the first 2 years, we shot a major scene that would help us tell our story if it took us a little while to go back into production. We knew that kids age, but we knew if, like you say, every 6 months to a year we shot something, we'd watch them age. So because it took us 4 years to get back into full production, we've now told the story from a different perspective. Instead of something that happened 4 years ago, we now say, let me tell you about what happened to me 4 years ago when my grandpa taught us that we could time travel, and let me tell you what happened during that time, and we've got a bunch of little clips that we can sew together to tell that story, to weave that story, and then they come to present day where they're off now again to see Louisa May Alcott. Little did we know at the time that it was brilliant to do that. With the success this past winter of, now I can't think of the name of the movie, was Boyhood.
Boyhood, yeah.
The fact that
which I have not seen. Have any of the rest of you guys seen that one?
Mm-mm.
It's really good because they took 12 years to make it with the original cast. They filmed all along the way this young man growing in from boyhood to adulthood with the theme of the movie as it is. It's not, I do family stuff and I don't mind watching it, and it was good because it was well done and they thought through that aging process. And what worked for us is by going to market in January, that was a hot topic. It was like, has anybody got anything where for multiple years they've been filming with the same cast? We've got to raise our hand up. We picked up a bunch more pitch sessions, which is how we locked in our distribution for cable as well as the broadcast for cable overseas and broadcast in the U.S. So it's interesting how things work. As long as you're willing to use and have a creative mind and realize that you can solve anything with the power of the pen.
Right, and not letting adversity get in your way, and coming up with creative solutions. That's really cool. I'm glad to see that all worked out.
Thank you.
Moving along, I believe I was originally talking to Jaysen when I came up with this question, but like I said, your dialogue is very Tarantino-esque in some ways, and your film is mostly two guys talking in a car. So talk about, it's a longer short, about 25 minutes.
Yes, my short films are too long.
But and that is also one of the, Between Hell and a Hard Place is one of the other films that we'll be showing at the live local film talk episode. And I'd like to, to let you say a few words now since you yourself won't be able to attend. So this is your chance to get to, actually
to really sell it. Damn
speak
it.
for yourself. But
you should have told me that before rubbing tacos.
So tell us a little bit about how you keep people engaged for 20 plus minutes of two guys talking in a car.
I'm curious to know that myself, actually. Luckily for this particular project, I got insanely lucky in the two lead actors, Mr. Patrick G. Keenan and Mr. Michael Ray Williams.
Patrick.
And Patrick, you can't go wrong. Patrick G. Keenan also goes by the code name Pickles. If you see him call him Pickles, he loves it.
I'll do that next time I see him.
I can't imagine the man I've seen in that movie going by Pickles.
Pickles is fantastic. But yeah, for those two characters, I sort of wrote the script really with those two people in mind, those two particular actors, just because I knew their skill set, and I think they cover that in one of those how to write a screenplay books I have downstairs that I've never read because I'm too busy writing the screenplays and then directing them.
I have so
lot of
many
the-
books I bought on the topic of filmmaking that one day I intend to read. But
Those
until
don't
then,
look like
just make
books behind
movies.
you. That doesn't look like books behind you, dude.
No. That's my other hobby.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you to invite us all over for that hobby.
That's what's been keeping me from reading the screenwriting books. Yes, yes. That is my those are my empty bottles for my home brewing habit. And I will definitely have to have a big party sometime and invite some of my filmmaking friends over.
Yeah, why don't we
Sometime.
film an episode there?
Do what?
Why don't we film an episode there?
You know, one of these. I'm in my office right now.
Next
and one of
week,
my-
make it happen.
Office.
Oh, it takes a couple weeks to brew, man. I gotta, but when I do have a party with all my beer and everything, I will first ask you guys what you like because I can make all sorts of different styles. It'll be a choose your own brew.
I'm stout. Go with stouts. I'm a dark lager guy.
I don't drink beer.
Don't drink beer?
Oh.
That's right. I'll bring the whiskey.
Somewhere. Whiskey?
Yeah, I like whiskey.
There we
I'll
go.
bring the whiskey.
She wins.
See, when it comes to drinks, everybody wins. Somebody will always find a solution. Yeah, those are my empties for when I get around to brewing next, hopefully sometime this week.
That was just tonight, right?
Well, tonight and maybe
And tonight creeps in this petty pace. Yeah.
earlier this morning, maybe. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But so where were they? I think we're down to Bev. Yours didn't have a whole lot of in-person dialogue, and we kind of went over this last week. Yours was mostly a reading of a poem. And if you want to talk a little bit about that and maybe some of the casting choices you made, tell us about making a film that's mostly narration.
Well, this is actually my first film and my first ever festival.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yay!
hey,
You rock.
I'm a senior in film
glad to
school.
help.
It was summer before my senior year of film school. So I woke up one day and was like, I feel like making a movie. So I did, pretty much.
You did
And I
very
called
good.
That's good for somebody in film school.
Yeah, so
That
I
is.
called the press. They're like, "What script?" I'm like, I don't know. So I sat there on my back porch drinking a glass of whiskey out of a teacup for like a day, and I was going through. I minored in poetry and creative writing, focusing on poetry. So I had all these poems. So I was like, hey, I could find a story here, maybe. So I did. I just kind of picked one, and like 2 weeks later, I found myself driving out from Cullowhee to here to film it, and trying to figure out casting and locking down locations. And I was like, I have like 2 months to like film this, and then to get ready and go back to school because I already paid a ridiculous amount for film school.
Right.
And I had to finish it senior year in my senior project. So yeah, I just kind of made it up as I went along and planned very, very carefully. So 4 locations, mostly 3 people, 3 actual actors, and then everyone else was extras, which were produced by drinking buddies, because we were sponsored by a couple breweries, so a lot of extras just got to sit around set drinking beer for scenes where they had to be people drinking beer.
I want to work
Be an
on
extra.
your films. Yeah.
I'll be an extra. I don't be an extra, but I would for her. And
Right? Yeah, Carolina Brewing Company gave us 2 cases of pale ale.
Nice.
So that was really cool of them. And Raleigh Brewing Company gave us an Aviator, gave us some beer, so
ooh, Aviator.
Yeah.
they were really cool.
That's not a bad way to pay your extras.
Yeah. This is also coming from someone who doesn't like the taste of beer.
Right.
Give
No,
her shots,
I'll give you
her
all the
shots.
beer you want, and I'll also pay for your Uber ride home.
But I don't drink the beer.
Well, you
So,
couldn't drink anyways. You're busy directing. Director's got to
I
stay
guess.
sharp.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just kind of made it happen. Casting was really fun. I met my lead actress, Alethea, while we were extras on the set of The Hunger Games, like, years ago. That was maybe I was, like, 18 when I met her. And she lived in the area, and I actually ran into her on my friend's set that I was helping up. And she was cast in that, and I was like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, you know what? I'm about to film something, and I know you're awesome. So that kind of happened.
Mhm.
And then I found another guy on that set, and then he actually couldn't make it because he said he would get back to me, and like a week later, his agent had booked him for paying gigs. So
Paying gigs
yeah, that
take
was
priority.
yeah. So I was totally understandable. So I cast someone else through Breakdown Express, and about 2 weeks before filming, I get a phone call of, "Hey, so my toe broke and I'm on crutches."
Jeez.
So I had 12 days before filming. So I started casting, and I couldn't find another match that I really liked for the role. So I'm just so my friends dragged me out to Yard House and started buying me Long Island iced teas. I'm just sitting there moping, and it turns out the bar back was like, "Wait, you're whining about casting? I'm an actor." And he had his card and everything with him.
Waiters and bartenders.
Don't they always? Don't they
I was
always?
like, "I'm going to email you the script," and he fit the role. Like, he had the look. The character is a bartender. He obviously had the bartending experience, and so I was like, "Okay, what's your email? I've got the script right here on my phone. Send me an audition. The first page is your side. Send me your audition tape by tomorrow morning." And
Wow.
he did. So he got the part. He was actually really, really perfect.
Awesome. That's really
For it,
fortunate
too.
that worked out for you.
So he killed it. He's actually really did. So when in doubt, go to the bar, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
I'm glad that worked out for you. So we've
And then
Did we lose her?
I think we lost
Yeah,
audio for a
I'm here.
second. There you
Oh,
are.
okay,
There you
she's
are.
there.
did you lose me? Hey.
Yeah, I think you're back. I think we got
So-
you.
Cool.
So
And then who plays the older Josie just happened to know Alethea. They played mother-daughter before, so I was like, cool, they could pass for an older version of each other. So that worked really well.
Nice.
Are you talking about Alethea Delmage?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I've seen her work before.
So I think it's interesting. We've heard from John and Bev, some real roadblocks along the way to making their projects and how they worked around it. I'm curious with Random and Michael and Jaysen. I guess particularly with the films that are screening at FilmSPARK this year, what kinds of problems did you run into? What kind of obstacles did you have to deal with on the films you're sharing? Jaysen, what kind of stuff came up during the production of Between Hell and a Hard Place?
I honestly cannot think of a single issue that really went awry. I mean, that still sounds weird to even say. I mean, we got so insanely lucky from, pre-production to production to post-production to promotion in the film festival circuit. I mean, everything about this movie has been absolutely divinely brilliant. But I mean, I
You're
think that's
spoiled, man. You've gotten spoiled.
I've gotten completely spoiled. But I mean, maybe that's being able to pull together, like I said, the obviously the brilliant actors who were able to take this massive jarbling of words that I spew onto paper because they get hypercaffeinated and start scribbling things out. Because I have to write something. I mean, I have to have a pen in hand. I have to put pen to paper. But to be able to take these words that I see in this twisted caffeinated vision in my head and to bring them to life on the screen. And they did so magnificently. The people, Jesse Knight, Brett Mullen, the people, the cameraman, the DP that we had on the project, every single person that contributed the money and stuff like that made this film just an independent film success story. We didn't have any drama on set. We shot roughly about 35 hours of film in one weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had a couple hours of pickup shoots, but everything during production went brilliantly.
You shot the whole thing in one weekend, more or less?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Out in Monroe, Monroe is how the natives pronounce it. Monroe, North Carolina.
Monroe,
yeah.
North Carolina.
There were, if there was one thing, like one issue we had two very classic cars that a gentleman by the name of Michael McBride let us use for that film. I want to say a 1962 Catalina and I think a 1963 Bonneville. We had one car out there. We had the Bonneville out there, but we were waiting on the Catalina to be brought to the set. But the guy Michael McBride, he also had the keys to the Bonneville, and he had to go to get something else. So basically, we had one car with no keys while waiting for the second car to get delivered, and we had to push the car down this very steep hill. It was about 500 yards away from a massive power generator that basically powered, I think, pretty much all of Monroe, North Carolina. So we had everyone on the crew. There was maybe 10 people, I think, max on the crew, 8 to 10 people. So everybody is pushing this car, inching it towards the hill. We're ready to get to the spot. But we were able to get it in position. I was the one behind the wheel, so if the whole thing went tits up, I was going to be a crispy critter. But the film gods were smiling on us. But
that's an example of the director being the guy who says, "I'm not going to make you do anything I wouldn't do."
Yeah, I have to. I mean, it's my head on the pike. But that was probably the worst thing that happened to us out of the entire weekend. I mean, everything went brilliant. We basically had a car on fire in the middle of this country where there was pieces of wreckage strewn everywhere, and people were just driving by, looking. They just kept on going. This is at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. No one hesitated. No one bothered us. People were just like, oh, okay. I don't know if they saw the cameras or not. They just thought, hey, there's a bunch of wreckage. Yay! But I mean, nothing. Nothing happened. Nothing went awry. Everybody played nice. We got lucky. We got insanely lucky, and then it's been doing so amazingly well on the film festival circuit. Even I can't believe it.
Wow.
I see the laurels we get. I'm just like, yeah.
Well, and unlike Beverly, this being her first project, which I gotta say, I don't know if I guess none of you have had a chance to see it. She hasn't really publicly shown it yet, but if you do have a chance to see it at FilmSPARK, it is amazingly polished for a debut film. But Jaysen, you on the other hand, this isn't your first rodeo. You've got a couple projects under your belt, so I'm guessing a lot of. Huh?
I've been a clown for a long time. It's funny because I'm deathly afraid of those fuckers, but that's a different film talk episode.
Right. I can't wait to see your film. Your clown film.
Oh yeah, kill giggles, clown killing.
But so I'm sure some of your past experiences, you must have had some problems on past projects that informed this one that you knew to avoid.
Oh yeah. The Hot Pink Jesus trilogy, The Gospel According to Booze, Bullets, and Hot Pink Jesus. We shot the second act. I wanted a very pastoral setting. Giant sweeping landscape. We were trying to set a very romantic mood, and the landscape played a very key point in that. And I found a beautiful, beautiful pasture, rolling hills, giant tree that I could silhouette and frame my actor and actress right in the middle of, set the perfect scene. We get out there for filming on Friday, and there are 6 fertilizer trucks spreading the massive just fertilizer everywhere. They didn't know that we were going to be there filming that day, so we had to get them. We had to spend about 5 hours tracking down the owners, who called them and told them to leave. Meanwhile, freeing up the fields for us to shoot in, where it reeked of fertilizer. So here I am trying to set a very romantic mood, where basically we called it shit field because it was that was very appropriate. I don't think legally we were supposed to have humans out there, but we did it. We set their mood. It looks absolutely brilliant on film, but I don't think my actors have still forgiven me yet, or my cast or crew. But they keep coming back for more because movie making is masochistic.
Yeah. Their hair is a little thinner than it was before, but such are the sacrifices we make for our art. How about you, Michael? I know the whole Endless Whispers, the massive project, has had a few setbacks. Was there anything specific with the 2 shorts that are showing here at FilmSPARK? And actually, I forgot before, you also have an experimental film that's going to be showing. Faces. So yeah, I think you might have the award for director with the most shorts screening at the festival. We'll have to come up with a little plaque for that in and of itself.
Please don't.
But yeah, tell us if you had any difficulties with filming any of those 3, how you worked around it, and lessons you came out of those projects with.
I don't know if there are any really specific, having done this for a long time, I'm big on preparation. I'm huge on preparation. I spend a lot of time so that when we get to the set, as many of the liabilities have been taken care of, so that we're free enough when something does come up, because we all know something will come up. We're much more able to actually deal with it because we've handled everything else is so well planned. So and so I've had things happen over the years. A lot of it usually involves personnel. To me it's a very interesting relationship working with quote unquote part-time crew and actors.
Mm-hmm.
People that I want to shoot we shot a short film in 2010 called No Good Maxine. That's about 25 minutes long. It's about as long as Jaysen's short. So I make long shorts too, Jaysen.
We'll call it a sort of short.
It was actually 10 minutes longer, and I cut 10 minutes out of it, which still appalls my cinematographer to this day. But because it was 25 days, we knew we were going to be shooting over a number of days, and I wanted to do it I wanted to do it back to back. I wanted to do it in a row. And then when I tried to cast people that would be able to do this, I get a lot of discussions about, oh, well, I've got a day job. I can't take off work. And I'm like, okay. Are you an actor, or are you a day job person? So, there's that kind of thing that you run into. A lot of it's always the logistics. I don't think there's really ever any difficult. I've never really run into any difficulties where
well, you've shot outside plenty of times, haven't you?
We've had things like
bad weather?
What's that? Well, no, never. But we Faces, actually, we shot Faces in the one of the warehouses in downtown Durham. It was, oh God, it's gorgeous. And when we were scouting, we'd seen a bunch of other places, and I was never quite satisfied. And we walked into this place, and I said, "Dear God, this is it." Because it's really atmospheric. It's beautiful, especially for the scope of that film. And it was a bit of a pain because I paid a lot of money to rent that space.
Yeah.
And we were at the whims of the warehouse owner, and he assured me we had both days. Somebody would be here to open up for us. Somebody would be here to close for us. So and I was flying my lead actors in from Atlanta. And so we shoot the first day. We get there the second day to come in. I'm always there like half an hour to 45 minutes early. 45 minutes after the guy's supposed to be here, he still hasn't gotten here. And she's got to be my lead actress has to be on a plane to fly out at the end of the day. So every moment that he wasn't there was bleeding into time, because there was a complete cutoff date. There was no, can we go over a little bit, because she would have missed her plane. So, stuff like that. But that, that again, that all comes down to logistics and stuff like that. And you just figure out how to deal with it. So we just decided to do some impromptu little sessions, and then a little work with the actress and my cinematographer. And by the time he did get up there, we went in and we actually were able to get a few more minutes of footage, because we'd rehearsed some stuff outside, and we just went in there and just stuck the camera around and had him ad-lib taking it. So it's stuff like that.
Right.
I think logistics is always going to be the biggest problem of any movie. Mm-hmm. Whether it's an actor calling you 2 days beforehand to say she can't work on Saturdays now, even though you've already scheduled the thing, so unless you pay her more money, things like that, just logistics.
Do you use contracts? Do you ever say, hey, look, you signed a contract?
Oh yeah, no, we use contracts, but given the budget level that I work at, and given the amount of resources that I have, for me to go out and try to hire a lawyer is just, one, it's going to take a lot of time, and they could just delay it. By the time we get there, it's all done, said and gone.
Well, I wasn't meaning to use a lawyer, but it's just a matter of, if they've signed a contract, don't they believe their word should mean something on paper?
Well, if you've had that luck with everybody, then that's great.
I haven't, but those people
either.
Don't work anmore in the business.
Right. Well, and some of these people, many of these people I don't work with anymore. Which is actually one of the reasons why I've begun to branch out I'm casting a lot of out of Atlanta and out of South Carolina and some
I'm a
out of
full-time
Tennessee
actor.
now.
I live in the Raleigh
Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a full-time actor.
I know. It's got to be the right part. But
I will show up.
that's great.
There
But,
you go.
know,
That's a great first step.
But it's all logistics. It's all, you get a crew member that says they have something and they show up and they say, well, I was on a shoot on Wednesday and it broke. And then you're like, well, could you have at least called me like on Wednesday when it broke because you knew you were going to be here on Saturday and now we don't have this. That kind of, it's just.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's some of the kinds of stuff you run into on a really low budget set. It's not always easy to just turn around and say, "All right, somebody run to the rental house and just get us another one, put it on the tab."
Yeah.
And the downside of contracts is that like you're saying, Michael, there's an agreement and everybody should be able to be taken at their word. But unfortunately, sometimes a contract is only as good as how much you're willing to spend in order to enforce it. So
yeah, and in these cases with us, by the time we do enforce it, we've either already got to be shooting, and then you've got a really angry actor who doesn't want to be there, and so there's a lot of stuff that we just have to kind of like let roll off the shoulders, and you make do with what you can.
Right.
And it doesn't happen a lot. I'm not saying it happens a lot, and it's not just personnel, it's logistics, things breaking down, the generator not working. You get on set, you're on location, you got to have power, and your generator, you spend 45 minutes, you tested it the night before like 8 times and it worked fine. You get out there the next morning and it's like, expletive. Why isn't this working?
Oh, don't worry. This is the internet. We can. I'll just put the little explicit content tag on it, and we're good to go.
Oh, so we're on like a 5-second delay because you knew I was going to be on the show?
No.
Well, I win the award for most fucks in this film festival.
There you go. That is true. You do have quite a few.
I've been rejected from 4 film festivals due to language. They love the film, but the language was kind of an issue. I'm like,
that's the film.
Yeah, they're not nice people in the movie. They use not nice language. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what you gonna do?
I did have a question though. What's a budget? You guys keep talking about. I keep hearing this budget word thrown around.
Preparation, budget.
Apparently, some people actually get money to do this. I'm still trying to figure that part out myself.
That's probably those books.
It's a good thing to have workman's comp on set. I remember back in the mid-'90s, I worked on someone's short film. Not me, but another actor broke their leg, and nobody had workman's comp. That guy lost his house.
Yeah.
He lost his house.
I'm gonna pull a scene from Spielberg's Jaws. I got a scar right there from shoulder surgery. I was doing stunts in a film, and the director didn't have workman's comp, so he had to pay out of pocket for all my shoulder surgery and recovery.
Ooh, jeez.
It's the one thing I tell people when they're doing even no budget stuff. There's no real such thing as a no budget.
Yeah.
Because it costs something somewhere. What you really have to ask yourself is, if you have a catastrophic accident, can you afford that, or is it better to pay the $250 and have some workman's comp? Because there's no such thing as a volunteer. When you're a volunteer at community theater or anywhere else, they still have workman's comp.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you got to cover your own ass. So, well, believe it or not, guys, we've been talking for the better part of an hour. I think it's been about 50 minutes.
Well, you guys are really good. I am impressed to hear what all of you are doing. Yeah. I am honored to be amongst you because I consider myself really an amateur.
And this is just 5 of the people. There's a good 40 different films screening. Probably 35 different directors and everything. So there's a lot of great stuff going on this weekend. You guys. Obviously, I loved all the stuff you guys made. There's even more great stuff coming. So, I hope everybody gets a chance to go out and check it out that wants to see it, because Conrad Arnold, who's in charge of FilmSPARK this year, I was talking to him the other day, and he said he was reading the News and Observer, and they had an article. This was probably a couple months ago. Somebody had made a low to no budget feature film here in the area, you know, a little indie film. And the newspaper article, he said, had this tone like, can you believe somebody, you know, actually made a movie around here? And, you know, we're both looking at this list of movies that are showing, and we're like, there's movies getting made around here all the time. It's a huge community. You know, random.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started, Bob.
Yeah,
you know how I feel.
I know. But you know, I do
There's 5 episodes of a show of me talking about why I think that is.
Oh yeah. No, there's no doubt there's issues, and you know, the state not to get political, but the state legislature isn't doing anything to help. But you know, it's really cool to see. You know, like I said, I got 5 people right here who, you know, as near as I can tell, don't even run in the same circles. You know, I'm interested to hear, you know, you guys picking out, oh yeah, I know that person, but you know, completely different sets of crews and everything, and there's still even more people here. So there's a lot of people here doing really awesome stuff. And I think I'm really excited to see how for people to come out and just see what kind of cool stuff is going on around here. So yeah, and thank you guys for coming and being on the show. I really appreciate it. I know it's I know it was a little weird. The timing got thrown off a little bit, and I didn't really have a very clear plan. I had to plan for everything from nobody showing up and me just having to run down the list of films and talk about them myself to to possibly 25 people all showing up at once.
That would have been a great show. Bob reads the lists for an hour.
Oh, I'll tell you what. There was I helped out at the food bank telethon. They did a 24-hour telethon. Yeah, they started at noon on Friday and went to noon on Saturday. And around 5 o'clock in the morning, everybody burned out, and they're like, all right, we're going to take like a half-hour, 45-minute break. You know, some of us have got to go get cleaned up. Some people need to take a nap or whatever. We're just going to let the camera run on the empty stage. Nobody's watching anyways. And we'll all be back in a little bit. And everybody else went off to take a nap, and I'm just kind of standing around on my 4th or 5th wind, and I said, well, we got a live stream going and an empty stage, so I just sat down there in my sleep-deprived state. And yes, you can go and watch it because they used Google Hangouts. So if you go to the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina's YouTube channel, you can see the entire live stream. And I believe it's the 3rd video, because they had to break it up into 6-hour chunks. It's the 5th hour into the 3rd video. I just sit down in front of the desk and start reading off the list and describing all the different films that are going to be screened. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Got to keep it from being dead air.
Yep, it's better than dead air, and now it's on the internet for posterity. But
Yeah.
you know,
And somewhere there were some stoners watching that going, oh my God, this is amazing.
and it's still there. People can still discover it. It's still fresh to someone. So
That's great.
things don't live forever on the internet, do they?
I got a quick question about this space, because I noticed, I think it's at the Museum of History.
Yeah, great space.
Is it? Okay, I don't know it, so I don't know what the space looks like. What? Because I've had some people ask me, you know, it looks like it's in a museum. Where are they showing it in a museum?
It's a wonderful venue. I've done awards shows there. They've got a great projector, great screen, great sound, great venue.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It is an actual auditorium.
Okay.
You know, with stage and projectors and all that stuff, but you know, just within the museum. So no, it's not like we're breaking out a bunch of folding chairs and just projecting on the wall. It is an actual.
It's fine. I just wanted to know a little bit about it so I could tell people when they ask me.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you go to their website, they don't have a lot of information about it. I think you actually have to go to the thing like, yes, I would be interested in renting the facilities, and you'll see like a 2-sentence mention of it and then a very small thumbnail of what the theater looks like. So there's not a lot of information out there, but you know, Conrad has been they were really generous to agree to do all of FilmSPARK is happening there.
Right.
We got a meetup happening on Thursday night at the London Bridge Brew Pub, kind of over by Moore Square in downtown Raleigh, but everything else that FilmSPARK is doing is here in this auditorium that the museum has generously let us use.
It's cool.
So,
I'll be at the meetup, right?
do what?
I'll be seeing all of you at the meetup, right?
No,
Yes.
No.
Not me either.
I'm in rehearsals. I'm in rehearsals for Harvey. Sorry. I'll be at SparkCon Saturday, but
I'll be there to as many events as possible. That's it.
Cool.
I'm
Everybody drink one for me, and you can do a shot for me, okay?
Okay.
There we go. Everybody's drinking for John.
Then I'll drink a beer and a shot for you, John, because
You're the man. You're the man.
Hey, you know, an Irish
I'm the
car
rep-
bomb will take care of both of those in one.
you put a steak in there with it. You've made my perfect meal. So
I don't think he said he was paying for the.
oh,
Oh.
I thought Bev was gonna pay for all of us.
Hey, I'm the recent post grad here.
That's right. Yeah, you've got no money. We can't expect you to pay.
I'm the new one here.
We're all filmmakers. You can't expect us to pay either.
So before we go, just to quickly wrap it up, of course we have Beverly Tan with The Last Line, Jaysen Buterin with Between Hell and a Hard Place, John Demers with the pilot episode of The Rusty Bucket Kids, Michael Babbitt with a whole slew of stuff.
The smorgasbord of films.
Which
Last year was a very prolific year.
it was so expensive to enter. I can't believe you submitted so many movies.
Oh, it broke my pocket. Actually, that's the steak, shot of whiskey, and the beer that I was going to buy Beverly. So sorry, Beverly.
Oh.
I don't eat steak either.
Well, I was going to eat that. I was going to eat that because I get two that way.
There you go.
I'll buy mine.
What do you eat?
Plan ahead.
So, but yeah, let's go over them real quick. You have Faces, which is not related to the Endless Whispers. That's just a sort of experimental short film. And then from the Endless Whisper cycles, you have Sacrifice and The Long Road.
Correct.
And then, of course, we have Mr. Random Gott. It was Gott, right? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, Random
Yeah.
Gott, you're
It
right.
was a Random Gott with the what time was that coming on anyway? So I was scrolling around here.
Looks about, is it 2:40?
There we go. Curtis Theater, and that one was going to be. Yeah, that is also on the first block on Saturday. It's yours is actually the last one, so yours will probably be happening around 3:15 or so that day.
Okay, thank you.
So all of these are really cool films that I suggest everybody come out and check out. Do you guys, again, I'll kind of start on my right and move across. Do you have any parting thoughts, any last things you'd like to say, a website you'd like to plug or anything? Bev, you go first.
You can follow me on Twitter at Beverly Tan Film. Same thing for Instagram. Like I said, I'm the first-time filmmaker of the group, so in the area, and really excited to meet all the other filmmakers. I've been in Raleigh for all of 4 months.
And she did a great job, everybody. So go out, check it out, and be supportive of first-time filmmakers. Don't let them get discouraged. We need more great artists in the area. Jaysen, what would you like to plug?
Tacos.
I like it.
You're going to go see the Deadpool movie, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes.
Another
Also,
Twitter.
go back to the Hot Pink Jesus trilogy, which had a topless taco bar in there. So if there's any investors watching this broadcast who want to make tons of money, invest in my topless taco bar. It will not fail. It cannot possibly fail.
It can't fail. It's endorsed by Jesus.
But we have we're on all the social networking things. I mean, everything is .com/MadOnesFilms. We also have a CB handle, Mad Ones Films, CB Radio, the next big wave of social networking. Wow, stuff is just ringing everywhere, isn't it now? And that's it. We've got a lot of different projects in the works. Don't Let the Light In is going to be the newest thing from Mad Ones Films. We'll hopefully have that coming out soon. There's a feature fantasy film in pre-production for next summer. And it's just, it's an honor to be here amongst the interweb thing with these beautiful faces I see down here in the bottom of the screen. And I wish I could be there at FilmSPARK. I won't be able to. I have to be on a film set that day that we're screening on Sunday. The Devil's Lettuce, which is filming down in Charlotte. but lead actor Michael Ray Williams will be there in attendance for us. So he will be there drinking the beers and the shots and the eating of the steaks and stuff like that. He'll be there for all of that. He eats vegetables too. I don't know why, but he does. So he'll
Vegetables are what food eats.
That's what I thought. I mean, that's what I always heard it. But some people, you have to each their own. But I wish everyone the best of luck, and I look forward to getting our laurels that said we showed up tonight. Because that's why we do all this. Those little sets of leaves. Doesn't matter, fuck all what's in between the text in between. No one cares. They just want the leaves right there on the side. So.
You're doing it for that little PNG file that comes with the email.
That's all. I mean, if I don't have that, what do I have,
John, where can people learn more about the Rusty Bucket Kids?
Hey, it's real simple. Just go to our website, rustybucketkids.com, or Facebook, the Rusty Bucket Kids Club. And we launched a Kickstarter campaign today for $10,000 to finish the edit of the pilot. And I just checked a moment ago, and for having launched at 10 a.m., we're already at $500.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
This is a good start. We'll definitely put a link to that in the show notes.
Thank you.
Where it will live in perpetuity, and 3 years from now, people will go, "What's this link go to?"
Hey, how come I can't give?
And that link will then go to you reading off the names of all the lists at 5 a.m. on that telethon, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna have to like steal that off of YouTube. Just cut out that clip and put it up here somehow.
I think so.
That's a proud moment for me.
I think that should be the end tag on all your reels, on all your all the videos, like like Chuck Lorre's thing at the end of all his TV shows.
Right.
You should have just a shot of you at some point reading a couple of names off that list, and then just go to black. Everybody be like, "What the?"
What is this guy on? Yeah, everything seems like a good idea at 5 a.m., but after you've gotten a little sleep, you realize the error of your ways. My recommendation, people, when you're going to make a bad decision, try not to do it on the internet. So tell us where we can learn more about your stuff, Michael. You've got quite a bit going on.
TheEndlessWhispers.com. Pretty much any of our social medias link from there, so you can get to all that from there. And that's really the big place. www.TheEndlessWhispers.com. Just as a short plug, if you're a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, you might like our stuff.
It does have that vibe. It's pretty cool, and I'm so stoked to see the actual feature film, to see all this crazy.
You and me both.
We'll definitely have you on again to talk about that sometime.
Woo!
And Mr. Gott, tell us where we can find more of your work.
Okay, well, I ride a 1986 Moto Guzzi and like old motorcycles. So on Vimeo, I've got the last 3 years of Bold City Rumble. I like that happens in Durham every Labor Day, and that's kind of a cool thing. But my stuff is decidedly modest scale compared to what most of you people are doing. So, it's been a pleasure to meet you all and get a little peek inside your world at this level. And thank you for including me.
No, thank you for joining us. It's it takes variety. If we were all making the exact same stuff, it would get boring. So, we got 5 very different projects represented here. 6 if we include my short, which will also be screening on Saturday. But different people, different personalities, different interests give us a variety of stuff to look at. And I wouldn't want to go and sit through 2 hours of shorts that were all the exact same thing. So thank you all for following your vision and doing what you do best and giving us some really interesting and different stuff going on.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Good night.
All right. So that is it. So that is it for this episode of Local Film Talk. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And if you like what you saw, if you're interested in any of these films, be sure to check out FilmSPARK this weekend, September 17th through 20th, at in downtown Raleigh. All the screenings will be happening in the auditorium at the North Carolina Museum of History, and it is absolutely free of charge to the public. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell people you don't even know on the street to come on down to the Museum of History this weekend and check out FilmSPARK. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us, and hope to see you this weekend.